Hello and welcome back to my walkthrough to Final Fantasy 15 in the last episode.
Refreshing swim?
Depending on whether we're talking about the main stage, in which case we completed this dungeon, the Staylith Grove dungeon, but if we're talking about time-wise, the most recent episode I did was actually going through episode Gladiolus, a series of, as we went through the that DLC. Took 4 episodes, and you should definitely check them out if you're interested in the DLC for this game. And there's some interesting sort of story features to go alongside that. But now we are back here with the main game, and essentially we had the chance here to pretty much end this chapter should we desire to. We probably won't quite yet, as we'll just see if there's anything particularly interesting. Nothing particularly interesting there. What about over here? An ice brand, a hard edge, an ice spear, assassin's daggers, rebellion, thunder shield, flame shield. Looks like we've been buying things because they are available, so it may well be that this is an item that we find. In whichever case, we won't purchase it quite yet. Virtually every, there won't be any weapons that'll be locked away.
And nice enough to lend us her lance.
Assuming she's not our enemy, she'd make a great ally. Ally. I like the sound of that.
But yeah, essentially,
I'm going in.
Okay, so the strategy.
Crush the opposition. That's the plan.
There we go. Nice, quick 2 little link strikes there to finish off these Sahagin. And we'll finish this guy off. So yeah, so essentially Aranea, we can talk to Aranea and that will actually finish off this chapter. But I was just thinking what we could do, depending on how far away we are from the closest fishing area, is that we could actually do a little bit of fishing just to start off this episode, and then try and make our way through the rest. Now that may well be relatively unfeasible, in which case we won't do so, but I thought I'd just do a quick little search around the outside of this route first, just to check, because I'm sure that there are multiple fishing spots round here at the Vesper Pool, and even if we can't find them all, it would be good to know where they are, at least.
It's freezing.
So there are more
don't wear your jacket.
more Sahagin over there. It looks like we're a bit far away from everything. So to be honest, in that case, we'll just talk to Aranea and finish off this chapter, and then start making our way through the next chapter, chapter 8. And pretty much once we get through the first bit of chapter 8, a huge glut of side quests suddenly become available to us. We will spend several episodes sort of making our way through those before heading over to Altissia.
Watch your back. Thanks.
Such has been sort of or certainly has been the desire, the want of this particular playthrough, or how I've sort of designed my plans for how I play through this. So we see a little Gigantoad over there.
I'm going in.
Deal a total of 21.
Crush the opposition. That's the plan.
Okay, what are you weak to? You are weak to... So we need to do over all of its health, pretty much.
The hunt is on.
But as you can see, we can do a huge amount of damage just with our ice spear here. And there we go. Gigantoid stakes.
Look at this guy.
Magnificent.
Lovely. Okay, cool.
And
Okay,
on
with
we
that
go.
done, we will now
Right.
head back and talk to Aranea. We'll be able to call this episode to an end. Sorry, not this episode, this chapter to an end, I should say. Certainly not this episode, otherwise it'd be a very short episode indeed. I am tempted to buy that ice brand, maybe just one of them. Indeed, I might do so, thinking about it. Just because certain shops are pretty rare. It may well be useful to us. We may well have to buy it anyway. There aren't a huge, certainly there's a very limited number of weapons that are actually available just by picking them up, even though those weapons are obviously then farmable, essentially. We'll buy it just to be sure, It's you. Buy Ice Brand. It may well have been that last time we were here, we actually just did not have the gil, because I have memories of not having a lot of gil as we were sort of going through a lot of this area, and obviously we will have gained a fair amount of gil just by completing the quest that we did in order to get through there.
Indeed.
So,
Headed
Aranea.
to Lestalem, right? I'll take you there, but no further.
Got it.
So, ready to ship out?
So, we
You
will.
bet. Let's fly.
Hold on tight, boys.
Look at that.
A red ship.
So a rather large amount of experience is waiting for our party of 3, and we will head back to Lestalem, and then as we get to the end of the chapter. So everyone's now, well, Noctis and Ignis Prompto all go up to level 40. We'll just check through some of these photos, because why not? Aranea looking pretty sweet there. That's also quite a cool photo. And ice. Ooh, one of the various demons that sort of plagued us as we were going through. I'm sure those are like the liches and stuff. We got a picture of Aranea, Prompto, Noctis, and the group killing the Gigantoad at the end. Or at the start of this episode, I should say. And there we go. So yeah. That is chapter 7 complete, and now we have chapter 8, Seaworthy. With the help of Imperial Commodore Aranea Highwind, the makeshift miners hit pay dirt. Only to learn raw ore won't suffice. Cindy refers them to Holly, an engineer in Lestalem, who knows how to treat Mythril. So obviously we need the Mythril in order to be able to fix the boat, in order to make our way over to Altissia. And that's why we went through that whole dungeon in the first place. But this chapter will actually start with something quite different. An interaction in an area where we don't actually usually get a lot of missions, certainly. It's really only an area that you only have for certain hunts, and specifically this mission. And then once we get through that, like I said, the number of quests will just explode. We'll suddenly have a huge number of quests available open to us. Most of them side quests, a lot of them the sort of side quests that you don't actually sort of get a big question mark on the map for. So we'll get a lot more sort of like stranded people, a lot more people, so both types of stranded people, so people who need healing items or people who need repair kits with their cars. But yeah, lots and lots of things that will sort of be brought about by completing this next little bit.
Charming, we're here. Sounds like a spot of trouble's popped up at the power plant. Wish I could help, but I'm powerless to do anything I'm not ordered to. I'll leave the keeping of the peace to you.
Of course.
We got this.
Good luck, boys.
So, several hours later, and RNA seems to leave us in a pretty sort of good spirits.
Loving that outfit, Noct. Why don't you wear one?
Oh, that's the only one. And if anyone stands a fighting chance in there, it's you. Forget about fashion and go.
So, a precious source of power. Clear out the demons and stabilize the generators. I'm sure this music reminds me
Do you read me?
of Final Fantasy 13, or at least
Just wanted to thank you
13.2,
for offering to
13.3.
clear out those demons. That'll give me time to treat this Mythril for you. There's a hunter who went in right ahead of you. I imagine there are too many for one to handle. But two of you should be fine. And a little heads up, we're getting some unstable readings from the generators inside. Too much power and the whole place could blow, so be quick.
Will do.
So,
You might back up.
I thought we were partners.
Anyway, place is crawling with demons.
Wait a second. You sound familiar.
Save the talk. We got hunting to do. Now, if we're done with the introductions, follow me.
yep, Noctis, let's not get stuck on the scenery. Oop, item. Silver Bangle, okay. Nothing too valuable then.
There they are. You ready to run?
We should be more than high enough level for these guys. Yeah, level 24 is, I think, the max that we see here. Level 7, we will see sort of as well if this seems to go by.
What you got there? Reminds me of a certain king I know.
You make a good sparring partner.
Think so?
Naturally, we see.
We're detecting a major power surge. She's gonna blow. Abort and get out of there.
I ain't one to unfinished business. Can't speak for him though.
Then allow me. I got this.
Well, I'd like to prove it.
Gladly.
So we're going to defeat all of the targets in the time allotted, but to be fair, I'm pretty sure we have more than enough time then, you know, you get more than enough time for what is required essentially. So we'll just quickly deal with the Garchimacera here. There may well be another one around the other side. Goblin, they won't be any trouble for us. Is that it?
Got all of them?
That does look like it. Lovely.
Nice
Okay,
job.
cool.
It didn't disappoint.
When have I ever?
Keep it up.
Will do. Now, let's scram.
So it's obviously pretty damn, well, I say it's obviously, it is damn obvious as to who our mysterious hunter is. Here, But naturally we will get a true reintroduction pretty soon as I choose all of the wrong paths. I do wish the map in this game was better. It's just absolutely terrible in actually telling you the important information as to where you can go. So you can see the hunter as we get Mythril component from Holly, which will allow us to obviously fix the boat.
Great work in there. As promised, here's your Mythril. And, thank you for your hard work.
Sure.
Hey, big guy!
So the hunter who went on ahead.
The one and only. How you been, fellas?
Not bad. Whoa, someone did a number on you, though.
You should see the other guy. Anyway, I'm back, and better than ever.
Knocked? Gladdy? I can't believe it!
Hey, thanks for looking after her, Dustin.
So, Gladdy, did you apologize to Noct for storming off like that?
He made it up to me in there.
The power plant? Oh, so you got your hands on some Mithril. In that case, I'll go deliver it to Sid. You'll probably want to freshen up first anyway. Come and meet me in Kayam when you're ready.
So there we have it, Brave New World. We are now absolutely free to essentially board the boat to Kayam and continue
Your
on.
Highness, I'm glad you're safe and well. It's nothing. Your Highness.
Okay,
Tell
Holly.
Cindy to give me a call. You guys don't owe me a gill. Cindy offered to take me out as thanks. Tell Cindy to give me a call.
Okay, cool. So that, I think, is everything we needed to do here. As we get a beautiful bottle as a pickup. So I think it's important that we obviously... so naturally, the game wants us to go straight to Kayam. We won't be doing that because we have more things to do before Altisha, pretty much.
Anything happened while I was gone?
Yeah, the car got roomier.
Smart ass.
So yeah, it's weird having sort of been here for the Assassin's Festival and then to have everything sort of back to normal. So if we just check our quest log, let's see, do we have anything particularly on down here in Lestallum? So Everyone Loves Beans is Taka, and we need to take it back to him. We need to take this back to Dino. We need to take this one there. Chase That Chocobo is for Wiz. An Eye for Islands is for Vive. Tailspin, Wild About Onion. So it looks like we're going to be going on quite the long sort of, you know, movement round through essentially going through the entirety, going through a large area of the game sort of and making selections as to what sort of quests we want to do. There are lots and lots of quests for us to try. Even if none of them are particularly initially obvious here, but we can see that there are new quests available up here, namely one from Navith, which is the hardest fishing side quest in the game and is actually probably too difficult for us to actually complete now, but also Hunter over here. This is Maldasio Hunter HQ. So you'll hear they've been talking on the radios and stuff like that. And so that's located up here, and we can go there for another set of side quests and also acts as another source of hunts for us to try. As it is, I think, at risk of this being a very short episode, but to be honest, most of these episodes end up being very, very long.
She's a little different.
Certainly doesn't fit the Imperial Army profile.
Prompto naturally sort of still pining after Aranea, as he does with like all the ladies. We will... I think what I want to do is I want to try and find a radio, just to see if there's anything new on it. So let's have a listen.
Reports have surfaced suggesting the dead may indeed walk among us. Crown Prince Noctis was believed to have perished in the terrorist attack on the Citadel. There have, however, been reports that the prince had departed the Crown City ahead of time and was not present on the day of the ceremony. Moreover, eyewitness accounts of the prince riding in the late king's car in Lucis have fueled hope for the anti-imperial factions.
So, news that we're not dead, which is good.
Own Fort Valeray, situated right here in Clane. Caligo Oldor, commander of the Lucis Garrison's 5th Division, was released yesterday from an Imperial hospital after receiving medical treatment. As of this morning, the commander has returned to Lucis and resumed his duties.
So Caligo is back.
Eyes of Exunerus asks, how come High Commander Flores got a fake arm? Our listeners always ask the tough questions, but we've got the answers. It all stems from an injury at the signing ceremony. The arm itself was created with state-of-the-art technology, the same kind the Empire uses in their Magitech infantry. Speaking of which, did you know those troopers aren't human? It turns out every one of them's an empty soulless robot.
So there's some other some comments about Ravus and also obviously about the Magitech.
Dream of driving the
In today's Monster Watch update, the zoo roosting atop the Rock of Ravito has flown the coop. Eyewitness accounts report the gargantuan bird has been taking flight with increasing frequency while exhibiting erratic behavior. Some allege the zoo even unleashed an intimidating screech, atypical of such a gentle creature. Biologists are baffled, yet some suspect the recent rains and seismic phenomena as possible causes for the zoo's change in temperament.
So the zoo is a ginormous big black bird, much like the bird that we saw, or the hurricane, I guess it was named, that we saw sort of right at the start of the game. I don't think that's not specifically a zoo. There's a different bird that's a zoo. I think it's even bigger. But that's located atop the Rock of Ravito, which is the volcano that eventually we still haven't visited, but that's located down this way. This is the Rock of Ravito down here. And there is the Veranus Mart outside Ravito. So, anything else?
The recent thunderstorms have precipitated some unexpected consequences in the sky. The stones sealing off Beauchamp Hollow at the region's center have collapsed due to the heavy rainfall. The hunters wasted no time investigating the newly opened cavern, and already they report demon sightings. Locals are urged to keep away from the cavern at night.
So that's obviously one of the dungeons that we've already been to. It was one of the ones that we went to when we were entreating with what's his name? I cannot remember the name of the lightning summon. Yeah, that's annoying. Just cannot remember his name. So yeah, that one essentially.
It's your vacation, Minnow. The Imperial Army has released a statement regarding its involvement in a recent civilian murder in Lascala. According to the explanation provided by the Army's official correspondent, on the morning of the incident, an Imperial commander was patrolling the area outside the LaVille Hotel. A Lucian man assaulted him from behind. The assailant would not desist, forcing the commander to wield his weapon in self-defense.
That sounds rather questionable. A questionable description of what might happen to Jared, obviously.
Meldacio Hunter HQ would like to remind you that in these troubled times, all of us must stand together to protect one another. We do battle with danger to defend the world we live in. Won't you lend us a hand? Drop in to see us at Hunter HQ, or contact your local hunter for more information.
So there's some more information about Meldacio. Oh, Rama, that's it. That was the one. So yeah, so the Meldacio broadcast seems to have changed.
The Imperial Army has released information on the culprits. Those responsible are fugitives from the Crown City, who are also wanted in connection with the violence at the signing ceremony. For the safety of all citizens, the Imperial Army promises swift action in bringing these criminals to justice.
Okay, so seeing as we haven't checked in on a radio, this may well be sort of catching up, essentially.
power plant incurred damages, pulling them offline temporarily. Today, the corporation formally announced that repairs were complete and all generators were back up. Even as inspections were conducted, unaffected generators continued to supply power to the grid. And thus far, there have been no reports of outages resulting from the incident.
Which is obviously very good news, given how much the demons like the night and the darkness.
For generations, we have supported the livelihood of the people of Lestalem, and will continue to provide power for generations to come. Exiner.
So it may well be that the Exinaris, so you got the standard Kernick Sol, Exinaris, Leville, Kenny Crow adverts, and it looks like we've actually, and Meldacio, and it looks like we've actually got through everything there. So there's quite a lot of stuff to sort of catch up on, a lot of sort of, a lot of information that sort of just like recaps everything that's sort of been going on these last few episodes in terms of the main story and stuff like that. So rather than sort of bundle on and sort of do something relatively minor for the rest of this episode, I think what's actually better for us to do is to just...
I gotta say, Aranea really impressed me today.
With her outfit?
Well, yeah, that too. It's just, I always had this impression that the Empire was filled with nothing but jerks.
She certainly doesn't fit the mold.
Really makes you wonder. You think she was okay with the raid on the Citadel?
Ask her yourself.
Prompto and his...
The finest room in the house is available for your
appreciation, let's put it that way, for Aranea. So yeah, so we'll stay at the Leville and
soft beds, baby.
Rest up, which will allow Gladio to get his experience and stuff like that. And I think that will be... And that'll be it for this episode, pretty much. So it'll be a bit of a shorter episode than usual, but we'll certainly sort of get back to the relatively long episodes once we sort of hit the next section, which is like what goes on next. When we start sort of doing another large sort of circuit around the map as we try and work out which side quests we can do ahead of us traveling over to Old Tisha. So, Gladio has a bunch of experience which he gets there. Nothing is really going to change there. Everyone's sort of just hanging around. And so that is that. We can hit next. And there we have it. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And essentially... if you pay attention to sort of Final Fantasy 15 news or not, episode Ignis is on its way pretty soon, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And essentially, we are going to be trickling out sort of releases of this series up until episode Ignis comes out. Once episode Ignis is available to us, we'll then be able to. I'll be certainly doing a guide to that, and then we'll start sort of hitting far more regular uploads with regards to like story progress and stuff like that. I think that's pretty important to sort of hit the story notes and stuff like that, and actually start moving along with that relatively swiftly. So hopefully we'll be doing that pretty soon. But yeah, no, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, as short as it may be. I hope you'll join me on the next, where we will be essentially doing several various quests sort of located around here, as we actually have some quests, one from Iris, we've got one from Gladio, which is rather amusing, let's put it that way. But loads of quests will sort of find an optimal route to sort of visit most everything around here. And then yeah, we'll be ready to head over to finally leave Lucis and make our way into the far more linear second half of the game as the story sort of ramps up. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Hope to see you on the next.